X is no longer going to give it to us. You know why?
Wow.
Sorry. I came in real hot today, apparently.
It's Talk Comics to me. Welcome. You've come. We've come.
Not yet.
It's a mutual coming.
Mutual come.
That's how we're starting this off real wild. I'm Champ Champenstein.
And I am Heather Hadfield.
We're on Zoom. It's a weird day. We have lots of books to talk about. We'll see what happens here. Heather, do you want to take us away?
Yeah, you know what? I'll throw us into the stratosphere. Let's go. Okay. I have Good Boy. This is volume 2, issue number 4. This is the last issue for this particular chapter, I guess. And before I start talking about it, I am going to say there is another series, which I know you and I have talked about before, but there is going to be a third part that's coming out, a third volume.
We're you, the audience. I'm talking to
yes,
you.
We have talked about this. So, and I did say I wasn't going to get it, but they did that thing where I'm like,
You've got to get it.
This ended was like so cool, but like it is one of those where you don't have to pick up the next one. It's not necessary, but the way that they're leading into this next story arc seems like it's really cool. I don't think I'm going to still, just because like I ended up taking a bunch of stuff off of my poll recently, and I'm trying to keep it like not as much. So I'm still thinking about it, but this issue ties up the whole storyline. They end up taking down the bad guy that was originally part of their crew during the Great War. And that's really all it is. It's just the bad guy was their friend at one point, and so they're having a hard time with like connecting that in their mind, because the only way they can take him down is if they kill him. And so it's a lot of those types of feelings throughout this issue. So it was done really, really well, and I really liked it. And I do really like this story. It's so gory for no reason, and it's dogs killing each other, and I think that's really cool. But I don't know. I will have to think about that more, whether or not I am going to get the next chapter.
Yeah.
But I would recommend this to people who like action movies, like revenge action movies, because they did a really good job on this. But Good Boy for you. And I just thought this was really cool. This is the dedication page for Buddy. I'm assuming Buddy is a dog. I'm just going to assume that. Because there were no author's notes in the back. And so I was like desperate to know who it was. And like, I didn't know how to Google it. And I'm just going to assume it was someone's dog. There we go. So yeah, Good Boy, volume 2, issue number 4. I'm pretty sure the first volume also had 4 issues. I can't remember, because in my head I thought it was 3, but
yeah, I also thought it was 3, but it's been like a year and a half or so since you've read that series, so it's been a minute.
It's been a while, but I am this got all the stars. This was 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, whatever. I had such a great time with it. It was
all the popcorns,
very enjoyable. All the popcorns, all the movie sodas, whatever you want. It gets it all.
Do you want me to go, or do you want to go?
I can just talk about these last ones since I didn't really read them. So I have 2 more, and these ones, like I just said, I didn't really read. This one, Damage Control, it's issue number 1. I did start reading it, but I just really was not a fan of the art, and so it was really hard for me to get into it. But Damage Control is apparently a thing that's been a thing before. I did not read that either, so I guess I didn't know what I was getting into. I only got this first issue because it has several characters that I really enjoy from the Marvel Universe. It's basically like a cleanup team of superheroes. So again, I just didn't really like the art. There's 2 short stories in it. So I don't know if that's your thing, then go for it.
Is the art the same throughout the whole book, or for
no,
the stories?
As far as I know, it was 2 different artists. 2 different artists, 2 different stories. One of the It says from the creator of TV's The Goldbergs.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that show.
I had no idea. But I do remember seeing it's by Adam Goldberg. And it's not the Adam Goldberg that I thought it was, because in my mind, Adam Goldberg is the guy, he was in Saving Private Ryan. He's just in a bunch of different movies. But I love that actor. And so I thought it was him, which is why I was like, oh, written by him with Nightcrawler in it. I'll check it out. It's not that guy at all. I Googled it and everything. It's not him. So I felt like a dummy. So
what's the guy you're talking about's name?
Adam Goldberg.
Okay.
It's the same name. Yeah, that's why I was confused. Like, so the writer of this one goes by Adam F. Goldberg, and then the actor just goes by Adam Goldberg. But that's why I was confused, is I thought it was the same person. I was like, I didn't know that dude wrote the Goldbergs. I had no idea. It's not the same guy. So that was Damage Control, everybody.
That was good.
And then this is Beware the Eye of Odin. It's issue number 3. I did not get around to reading this because I did actually take it off of my pull, which is kind of pointless now to think about it. There's only 4 issues. So I could have just, stuck it out for the last one, but
no need.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to catch myself when I make excuses like that.
It's like $5, right?
Yeah, it is.
So it's
$4.99. So it's just in the last issue, I know that the main character, he ends up taking some armor and weapons and stuff from the Earthsmiths who saved them from the trolls in the forest or whatever. So I'm assuming in this one, he's just on this mission by himself with all of his stolen gear. I don't know though. I didn't read it. There's just something, we've talked about it, the first issue. There's just something about it that's just not really into it. And I feel like I did a good job. I read half of the series and I just couldn't get into it. So
I feel like that book is made for somebody else and it's not made for us.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, which was actually kind of a bummer because this has everything in it that I would typically like, but it just was not done in a way that Heather enjoyed.
Yeah. I think there are people that book would appeal to, and
Not us.
Yeah, not us, which is fine.
Our tastes are a bit more refined.
I don't go that far, but sure.
And that's all I've got.
Okay, so I'll take it away.
Thank you.
First I have Tales of the Human Target. And you'll be like, what, champ? Why do you have Tales of the Human Target? You haven't been reading The Human Target. But the joke is on you. I've been reading Human Target. I haven't been talking about it.
I was same, actually. They were forced upon me by a good friend of ours, and I did actually enjoy them quite a bit.
So I have been enjoying Human Target as I've been reading it off the wall at work, and I don't know, I love the art a lot. I don't particularly like the characters. I like the mystery that's all like wrapped up in there a lot. I think what I like about it so much is that the characters are kind of unlikable.
I do love stories like that because it's a strong story if you're interested, despite the fact that the characters don't carry it.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Like, they do, but yeah.
Yeah, and the characters really do carry the story, and like Human Target itself, it's just, I don't know, there's something about him just like, kind of like, gross people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, I've been reading Human Target. It's been great. I've been enjoying myself. I added it to my poll for the NTAF, so do with what you will with that information. But this is a little one shot because the series is on a hiatus right now because Greg Smallwood had a baby. Well, his wife had a baby.
I don't know why I just felt the need to clap. Like, good for you.
Anyway, a child has entered the spectrum and they needed a little break. So this is Tom King does the writing, and then there's Kevin McGuire, Michael Janin, Raphael Albuquerque. Okay, done. And then Greg Smallwood does like small little snippets in here. So it's a few different stories, three different stories, three different stories, three different stories from three different points of view of people who have met the human target, and they are telling their stories to ICE because she has been working with the human target. So
Okay.
Well,
Is it necessary to read, do you think, if you're reading the series itself, or is it literally just a standalone?
I don't think you would need to read it. I think it just like bolsters the story a little bit because you get a better idea of uh Christopher Chance's the human target's name. You get a better like perspective of like his personality and the like lengths that he'll go to for like his job. So you get a better like understanding of that character for sure. And then you get a little like there's definitely hints at things here, but it's not something where I think you'd be fine without it.
Okay.
I think if you're reading the series though, you're probably just gonna get it because that makes sense.
Okay.
Especially since it's like still Tom King writing it. So it's still like as a whole a part of it.
Okay. That's good to know, because I was wondering, because I read the first, what, 6 issues?
Mm-hmm.
How many? 6 or 7?
6. It's 6.
Okay. Yeah, I read them, and I didn't know if that would like help with maybe what is going to happen in the second half or not.
I mean,
so I was just curious.
I think I really liked this issue like a lot. This was one of my favorite books this week, honestly. Just like the way it was put together, like I'd said to you, where the like snippets of the story were like just kind of like sudden. You just like a couple pages of each, but it just like you'd flip the page and it'd be somebody else's story. I like that aspect of it. I like how it like came together at the end. And I just like the stories themselves. I thought they were a lot of fun. So I just think it's unnecessary, but I think it's worth the read. Like,
Right.
especially if you're reading the story. And like I said, especially like with you and I who don't have any like real like connection with the characters or don't really know them, it does add like a depth, like I said, to like Christopher Chance that you don't really necessarily get 100% from the main series or from
Right.
the
Okay.
title before.
Cool. And I love Michael Janin, so
Yeah. It's a fun book.
all right. Beautiful.
Okay. And then I have Swamp Thing. This was a book I did not read. This is the last issue. I just wanted to go back and read all of the other issues all in one sitting before I read the end of this, just because there's just been so much going on in this book, and we've been reading so many books that I really want to enjoy the end of this because I've been really enjoying this book as a whole. So
That's fair.
yeah. And then lastly, I'm just going to mention that Heather and I both got this little Sartorial Geek magazine. It's put out by Scott
Comics.
Scott Comics.
Great Scott.
Scout Comics.
Yes.
It's a like $3.99 magazine, and just got a few little things in it. I think it's worth it just because it's not like a huge thing, but it has a lot of fun stuff in there.
Yeah, I really like it because I feel like it's more I don't know how to explain it. It's a lot of very femme stuff. Like I don't know what, like the first issue I felt like had a really good interview with Kelly Sue in it. Like it just had a lot of really cool articles and stuff. And then like this one, I don't know. I really like the way that they put it together and the way that it reads. I haven't had a chance to read it, like I said, but they've got like outfits in this one and like a breakdown of the outfits, which I thought was really cool.
They're Loki inspired outfits.
Yeah, there was just a lot of really neat stuff in there, and I think for $3.99 for how big the book is, it's not very thick, but I think it's really fun. It's worth the price, and I definitely recommend it.
It's well put together too, like the layouts and stuff, and the paper quality, they up the paper quality.
Yeah,
So
I was
it's
gonna
much,
say the
much
paper
better.
quality of this one specifically, because that first one, remember how many damages we got? Like they just
Yeah.
kept putting in damage. So yeah, I'm really, really into it.
All right, so that's all the comics we have by ourselves, and now we have just a slew of stuff together. So we'll see
There
what
are
happens.
16 comics here, so let's do it.
So first,
got
Heather,
End
you go.
After End.
This is issue number 1. Do you wanna give a little talk?
Yeah.
You wanna talk about this book?
Yeah, let me talk about this. Sorry, my cat's making a weird noise. Bellamy? What are you doing, dude? What are you doing? Okay, so this is a Vault book. It's issue number 1, obviously. I really, really enjoyed this book. It's about a man named Walter, who kind of quickly and unexpectedly dies, and before he actually like passes on, he ends up in this little fantasy world. So it's essentially like purgatory. But when he's thrust into this world, he's in the midst of like a battle, and he is not a warrior at all. And so he's trying to figure out like where he is and like how he ended up there, why he's there, how he can move on and stuff. I really, really liked this book.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too. Like the concept is really, really interesting. Like the idea of like the space between life and death being this like kind of fantasy land that's at war that you're
I did
to fight for, and if you die here, you actually die forever finally.
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting. Like we got the preview or the preview for it.
Yeah.
We got the preview for it, and so I read the first couple issues, but when we got this, I wasn't going to, but I ended up going back and rereading it again, just because holding it and reading it is a different experience than like seeing 100%. It on a computer. And I love the art for it. I thought it works really well for the story, which I haven't really had a complaint with Vault stories of this type and their art. Like I think they always do a really good job with that. But I am really into fantasy stories and death, so it's really cool that they put them both together just for me.
Had you definitely in mind for that one, I'm sure of it.
Like, well, I mean, I talk about both of those things a lot. Listen to me.
Just put it out into the ether, and somebody picked up on it. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
So next we have Olympus Rebirth. This is number 1. This is a little one-shot. This takes place after the trial of the Amazons.
Which with neither of us read.
No, I read that Artemis book.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So I did have a little bit more context coming into this, which was neither here nor there. I don't know about you. It felt like it made sense.
I have not read any Wonder Woman, any tie-in Wonder Woman stories or anything. And there were parts that were a little confusing to me, but I thought that this like one shot did a really good job of explaining like the things that had happened before. So I wasn't lost at all. Like I did understand what was going on. And again, it explained what had happened kind of in the previous series and stuff. So for someone who has never read any of that, this was like, it was awesome. It was really good.
Yeah. I really had fun with this book. Basically just Hippolyta.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Hippolyta.
She's up in Olympus trying to prove her godship, basically, kinda. And it seems like there's gonna be lots of backstabbing and bad stuff happening.
Yeah, she goes through her own set of trials.
I mainly got sorry.
No, I was just
You think after like several months of doing this, we'd be better at it. I was just gonna say, one of the main reasons I got this was for Caitlin Yersky's art.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that's part of why I did it too. And I love the Great Parthenon. Like I love reading stuff about them.
And this book just looked great too.
God, it was so good. Like the colors, like the facial expressions, like when they show chaos, like the way that his face looks, like so good. But my favorite god that they showed was Hecate, because a lot of times in like pop culture, when they show her, they never show the fact that she actually has like 3 heads. They do a really good job of like masking it. But I love the way that her 3 heads look, because it's mother, maiden, and crone, and they just beautiful. I really loved this little one shot. I thought it was really good, and I was kind of tempted to read what's next, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, no, like we were talking last week after I'd read this, it was just like, well, I kind of want to read what happens next. Like you've pulled me in, and now I want to know it, but I can't add Wonder Woman to my fucking pull file right now.
I know, can't do it.
There's no way. I don't have time. There's not enough time in the day to read everything I need to read. I've got schoolwork now. I'm back in school.
Look, I don't have anything going on, and I have too much going on. I can't imagine how much you've got. Can I show you my favorite panel?
Of course.
It's just because of the way that the face looks. Yeah, it was this one. Okay, and it's spoiler, trigger warning, it's a dead body. Just the way that they draw Diana here.
Yeah.
I don't know why. There's just something like really, really good. The colors, the shapes, like this book looked incredible.
Yeah, the book did so good.
Okay.
All right. So next we've got Wind. This is The Throne in the Sky. This is issue number 1. This is back after a little hiatus. And it was just as lovely as every other issue of Wind has been. It starts out with a little bit of a like tug at your heartstrings.
Yeah, you get like a little flashback. Oh, baby Wind. I can't.
Yeah.
This does pick up pretty much directly where the last story arc ended. So it is still Wind. Like the Throne in the Sky is not a completely different thing. It's just, I guess, the title of this next chapter.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think Michael Dialonas, the artist, I feel like he's gotten so much better. And I don't mean that as like a slight in any way, but like you can definitely see like the improvement in their art, or in his art, for sure.
Yeah, it feels like he got to know the characters a lot more. Like he's comfortable, and like, yeah. And
or maybe just had more time.
Yeah, that could be it too. Because after you had said that, I read it after that fact, and so I like really paid attention to it, and I even went back and kind of flipped through some of the older issues just because. And I do, yeah, it feels a lot more created with love, I guess. I don't know how to explain it, but it looks so good.
Yeah.
And this book, I know, is just going to destroy me at the end. Like, I just know it is.
Yeah, it feels like it's going to go, like, I feel like there has to be at least like a couple more, like, yeah.
I just noticed that.
Like this story arc, and at least one more story arc after this.
Yeah, because it is getting into like the conflict that has existed before this story started. So we're gonna have to get into that, and then the war of some kind. Like, that there's quite a bit that has to happen, and
Wind has like a conflict going on, like himself right now, like internally, with like who he is. So
yeah, especially because he's not who anyone thought he was, and so that's gonna cause some problems. But it is very it is pretty kid friendly, you would say, right? Like there are some like heavier topics, but
yeah, well, what I was gonna say about this real fast too is like, and it's right in there with what you're saying is like, if you picked up like the first story arc as a young adult and have been reading with like this along with this, it's like kind of grown with like the younger audience. Like this feels a lot more like adult than maybe the first story arc. I would still say it's young adult for sure.
Right.
I would just say like traversing on a little bit like
teen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely
like early teen, like
yeah. And it is very queer friendly as well, which I think is very important to point out. But I love it.
I say it's one of my favorite books. Like when I picked it up and like read the beginning of it, I was like, oh, I miss like that time without it. Like
all the characters are so good. Like I was very excited to see my baby Yorick, you know, like all my characters. Like I'm really excited to see how Wind grows, like the character. Like I'm glad it's back. I don't think recently I've ever been let down by a book that Tinian has done. I can't think of one that I've read that I'm like, nah, I don't like that.
Besides Batman, for me, I don't think there really is either.
Right. Yeah, I even liked I guess I didn't start when you did with his Batman. I just hopped on that Joker War and I liked that. So I don't know. What a solid writer.
Yeah, just really, really, really going for it.
Yeah, good for him. You know, good for him. I will support him every step of the way.
Same. Next, we've got this Pentagram of Horror. This is issue number 3. This is just a series of one-shots by Marco Fontanilli. Fontanilli. This one's about cyber Adam and Eve.
Cyberpunks. I did like this issue a lot, but I don't think anyone will top the first issue that we read because I just feel like that one was so solid. I do want to say the art, though, I know it's obviously done by the same person, is super solid throughout. Like I love the simplicity of the colors and I do like that every issue, while being like a horror anthology, they're completely different stories.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
I think my favorite part is the art. Like, yeah, the last couple stories have been just like meh, but it's like it's 5 issues. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And it's not like they've been bad, they've been enjoyable. I think the thing is like you kind of just have to take what you want out of it all the same.
Right. And I think that is that's a good reason or a good thing that he's doing such different stories every single time, because it's not like, you know, again, they're not bad. It's just some of them I like more than others.
As it goes with anthologies. I feel like any comics too in general.
And I think the fact that he's doing this by himself too, like there's no one else that he's working with. So that's pretty cool. Good for him, you know?
All right. So next we have Lonesome Hunters. This is issue number 3. Little story about Walter. Is that his name?
I was actually just looking. Guadalupe and shoot, why can't I remember his name?
She says
Howard
Walter.
And Guadalupe. They both ended up with, I don't know, haunted artifacts. They're not haunted. They're just special.
They ended up with a treasure belonging to a magpie.
Yes.
And then chaos ensued.
Yeah, they are being hunted for the pocket watch that Guadalupe has. And so they are trying to figure out a way to get it back to the magpie witch, whatever you want to call her, so that, you know, Guadalupe can just exist still and be free. Oh, yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I really like this story a lot.
Oh, yeah. Same. I'm not, I don't know, I guess I'm surprised how much I enjoy this story, but like I read this issue last on Saturday or Sunday.
Mhm.
And every time I like, I don't know, this issue, like Walter, I almost did it again. Howard and Lupe talk about losing their families, and I don't know, it was a pretty touching moment. I don't know, Tyler Cook's art is fucking insane. It's so good. The book looks great. And yeah, it's just like there's something about it that I really, really enjoy. It's like
I think it,
simple and straightforward and like solid.
yeah, it's literally just these two people, completely different backgrounds, like they're different ages, different genders, different, I don't know, yeah, backgrounds completely. They're brought together and they're just trying to help each other out while surviving.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought, yeah, it's really good. And I think it's really cool that it came out around this time of year too, because it's like if I had seen this as a movie, it would be very spooky. And
Yeah, no, if this is like a movie, it would be sick.
yeah,
But
it would be so cool.
this will be the only time I will say this. But it would have to be pulled off correctly, and I don't know if it could still. I don't know. I don't think it could, because there's still
No,
something about this art, like in some of these shots, like there's some like just like panels of like Howard and Lupe's faces that are just like you couldn't do like this one.
yeah, no, I was gonna say unless it was done as like an animated like horror movie, which would also be very fucking cool. But I'm looking through the computer as if I don't have my own book right in front of me. Yeah, no, it's really good.
Yeah, just really, really solid, really interesting story. Yeah, I would highly suggest that this book to anyone,
And it is
especially
only
if you like spooky things.
yeah, it's gonna be 5 issues, so it's not like you're in it for the long haul. It's just a quick spooky read. That's
All
all.
right, next.
Yes.
Okay.
Next.
We got Sins of the Black Flamingo. This is issue number 3. Where our story left off. We had some people getting shot.
Getting killed. I cannot remember his name. The main character.
Harlow.
Harlow. Okay, that's right. Yeah.
It's Sebastian Harlow, but I
Sebastian Harlow. Yep.
He's a little thief getting involved with some angels, and now he's trying to get out of some jams. I don't know. There's just like so much happening in this book. He's alive. Yeah. He's dead. He's alive.
So the main
got supernatural things.
The main point to take away is what he does for a living is he steals back like artifacts and stuff that are not where they need to be, and he returns them to their appropriate spaces. He took something that he should not have taken that is more than just an artifact, and he's being hunted for this one thing. It's so good. I cannot get over the art in it. I don't care how many times I have like flipped through this particular issue, because there's that one spread that has me like, it's just done so well.
Yeah, no, it's really pretty too
somehow. Yeah, every time I like all the male characters in this book, when I look at them, I'm like, my God, if I saw that person in real life, like so pretty, I wouldn't be able to stop staring. Like
I would just die.
I would die. And the man that looks like Hopper from Stranger Things, I thought that was pretty funny. I don't know if that was intentional or if that's just immediately where my mind went, but I was like, oh my God, it's season 1 Hopper.
Yeah, the art is great. Mm-hmm. It's pretty gay book, so
yeah, it's very gay.
If you feel like gay things, then that's the one for you.
Gay thieves. All right. Next, we've got Public Domain. This is issue number 3. This is a Chip Zdarsky joint. It's just about a family whose dad is a creator of comics and stuff, and he had been getting cheated the entire time for his property, essentially. And they find some documents that state he is supposed to be getting more than he was. So they're trying to decide whether or not to take it to court or settle or what to do with that information.
And in this issue, you learn because his son has been just vying hard for them to like get the money, get this thing. And I can't remember this dude's name either, so it's fine. You find out like his backstory and what's been going on, like, and why he's pushing so hard.
Yeah, I did like the little flashback and stuff where you get to see like the brother that apparently has it all together does not really have it all together.
Yeah, as it seemingly goes most of the time.
Right, exactly. He's just really good at pretending. But yeah, I do still really enjoy it. It's a very interesting story, and I'm kind of invested. So.
Yeah, and I like the way this ended. It made me like laugh and also just like, oh no.
Yeah, because
it's just like one of those wah points.
Yeah, because he tried so hard to get them to do it, but there were of course ulterior motives. It's not for the reasons that you think it is, and yeah, it's a very good story. I enjoy it.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Ready to get Judgment Day. You ready to get judged? This is number 3.
I don't think anyone was ready to get judged in this one.
Yeah, they try to stop the God from judging everybody on Earth, but that does not go as planned.
No. And I do still enjoy this story, obviously. Like I'm very into it. I don't, for some reason, I did not like it as much as I liked issue number 2. And maybe that's because this is their whole like test. Like this is them being judged. And I don't know.
I think it's also the fact that they're still fighting against it in the way that they are. I think that's why I didn't like it as much. Like I like this issue still.
Yeah.
But I did not like it as much as like, that last issue. And I think it is just like the way that last issue built up and then ended, and then swinging back into this issue and then having them just like punch stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was very frustrating reading this because you have X-Men and the Eternals, they're doing their thing, and then the Avengers are just kind of there, and there's like no real communication. Like they're all just sort of doing their own thing, which I get how overwhelming all of this would be for them. Like that sucks, but as a reader, it's very frustrating to be like, don't do that, just don't do that. Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, that's exactly where I was, because it's just like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
you just tried to punch a bunch of them.
Yeah, just wait, just like figure it out first before you start swinging. But yeah, I did enjoy it.
I guess they're superheroes, so what the fuck else are they gonna do?
They don't think, they just hit.
I am, right. Yeah, I'm before we move on, I'm just excited to see like what else, like, I don't know, just like the way the story is going still, regardless.
I like how they, like, Captain America was judged in this one, technically, like judged, and I like that the precedent that it set. I thought that was really funny because it's like, what did you guys think was going to happen? Like, everyone knows.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so now we can move on.
Okay, so now we have
I hate this place,
but I have fuck this place.
And this is issue number 4. It's a little horror story about a couple who moves into a house or inherits a house in the middle of nowhere. It happens to be like haunted and has aliens, and there's a killer, and there's a bunch of spiders, and just like anything you can name that you think is gross and creepy and like kind of spooky, scary. It's here. It's here in this book.
It's a supernatural horror story. Yeah, it's weird trying to explain to people like what exactly this is, because I'm always just like, well, it's a lot of fun. It looks really good. There's ghosts, there's aliens, there's cryptids, like whatever you can imagine, it's all in this in one way or another.
Yeah, it's like a hodgepodge of everything like you can get that's like horror related for sure.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it
all
is
of those
a
things,
lot
it
of
does look
fun.
great. And it's so much fun. It's so much fun. And in the last issue, they hired a ghost hunter to help them. That doesn't go as planned. And so this is them kind of just like trying to escape. I think my favorite part is when like they think he died.
Yeah, and he's just like, "Ah!"
Yeah, it just like shows up out of nowhere.
It's so good.
Dante Howitzer, I think
Mhm.
is his name. For some reason I thought they had the cast in the front. I went to look in the front. I was like, nope, they're not there. But yeah, I have so much fun with this book.
And at the end, where there's like author's notes and letters to the writer and stuff, Kyle Starks includes a list of top 10 scary things in the woods movies that he's seen. And it's a really good list. And I want to, for the month of October, how we do like the horror movies and stuff like every day or whatever, I want to include some of those in there because some of them are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I just thought his list was very interesting because I was like, why would you include that? But I get it. It makes sense for the list.
Was it Cabin in the Woods?
Well, and I shouldn't have made that face because number 8 is The Village, and then it says "Don't judge me," and I totally did.
Yeah, same. I don't think you can get away with putting The Village on this list without being judged.
And he knew that.
Yeah.
He knew that.
Joke's on you, Kyle Starks.
We judged.
All right.
All right. Yep. Let's move on.
We've got Grimm. It's number 4. This is a story. This is a story all about how Jessica Harrow lost her sight.
Oh my God. Yeah, pretty much. She loses her sight and ends up with one that doesn't belong to her, and her and a couple people are being hunted.
All right. The best part about this book is the art. The art is so fucking good. The art in this book is great. The story is okay.
It's like not as interesting as I thought it was going to be based off of how good the first issue was. Because I really, really did like that first one. I love the idea. Like the characters are just kind of whatever at this point. Like I don't have any real connection to them, despite how Stephanie Phillips is trying to get us to enjoy these characters.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I think if they would have drawn out like her ability to kind of interact with others and like, yeah, let us know the characters more, like more than like 3 issues ish. Like even those 3 issues kind of pop pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I think that would help. Because it does kind of just like give you very quick, like, okay, here's kind of what's going on. And then just flows into it and just like, okay, well, just like give me a minute to like breathe with this for a second. Like the bad lady, whatever.
I know, I can never remember her freaking name.
It's like the way that character comes in and is just kind of like, I don't know. Like I said, it's okay. It's not bad. It's just okay. It's not my favorite thing. I do just really, really love the art a lot. I love the way things look. There's like a panel where there's MASH playing in the background.
Yeah.
And just the way that like the TV looks with that on. I really like that.
Yeah, it looks really good. And I wish I cared about it more. But I just don't. I definitely lost its steam after issue 2, I think, for me anyway. So
yeah, I'm at least gonna give it this story arc and see what happens.
Yeah, I thought it was only going to be a limited series. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
I thought it was ongoing, but we'll
It's
see.
very possible. I just
Mhm.
always assume like these sort of books are just going to be limited, which is why I've never like looked it up. So we'll see.
It feels like something like this you kind of want not too
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So next we have Department of Truth. This is issue number 20. Cole's fiance has been taken down the rabbit hole.
Yep. He is being informed of all the shady shit his husband's doing.
I really liked this issue a lot. Like I don't know why this particular, like the art in this particular issue really got me a lot.
Yeah.
The story, like what was happening in the issue, like really intrigued me. And it brought me back to a question that Derek had asked me a few weeks ago. And it was like, who do you think are the bad guys?
Mm-hmm.
And this issue is one of those things where, you know, like there are no good guys or bad guys. They're all bad.
I know.
Because like this,
Especially hard to know that, like to come to that realization with this type of book too.
It's just like I really like how this issue is just like I'm watching these black hats try to like shift the narrative of stuff we've like been watching from our own perspective too.
Mm-hmm.
Like we know some of these things in here aren't the truth.
Yeah.
We know some of these things are the truth.
Yeah. I do think that this issue was important for the story because we've only seen and heard like Cole's side of it, and the fact that the other team is using his husband to try to say things a different way, I thought was very interesting. And like it's a very cool dynamic, I guess, because yeah, they're using him to turn against the whole dynamic was just really cool. I don't want to like spoil too much because we are 20 issues in, but it's still one of those things that I feel like I want people to read this book because it's not just about like conspiracy theories and like the government and how corrupt everything is. It's also about like human relationships and stuff and how easily your opinions can change when just you hear a different side of the story. So how your feelings about people can change just based off of that. So I think it's very important.
It shows how like easy it is like to manipulate the world too. Even though like this is to an extreme, like we see this stuff in our lives all the time, you know, and it does just show you how like malleable like we all are to like ideas and information, and like especially when those like that information is given to us by people like we see an authority or like a different authority, like in this case where like Cole's fiance doesn't know these people, but he feels like they're giving him some sort of truth that Cole wouldn't give him.
Right. Which also plays into like the vulnerability of people, like when they're in those situations. Like he would be the easiest person to manipulate and bring onto their team because of the things that's been left out from his partner. So
yeah, no, it's a really great story. It's really well put together. This is another show of like Tynan's like Tiny Onions business. Like he's just so good at it. And it's just like you look at Wind and you look at this book and like how fucking different the two books are.
Yeah.
And then also like all of his books in between that we're reading. And I think it's just, I don't know, I haven't encountered a writer like this, I think, ever.
Yeah, he's really good at like not just plots. Like he is very good at creating stories, but he's good at like characters and using the characters to move plot and get you I don't know, into it, like fully immerse you into this like the experience of reading a comic. And
you just get you get absorbed into the like it's the same with like Nice House on the Lake or like Wind. You just like this world is so like thorough and clear and just like just good stuff.
good stories. I want him to write novels. Like I've been obsessed, like I've just been thinking about this for like weeks now. Like I want him to write a novel, like a series of something.
Mhm.
It would probably be my favorite book. Like I want more from him that isn't just comics. Like I want more. Give me more Tinian stuff. I need it all.
All right, moving on. We have Farmhand. This is also issue number 20. This is the end of the story arc, and this is the last issue before the
Last.
the last.
Yeah, that is the last one. Yep.
I was like, did I read this? And I know I did, but
early 2023 is when the final story arc will be starting. And you get there's I don't want to spoil anything on there. Again, we're like 20 issues in, so it's like hard to not spoil exactly what's going on, but you get a lot of truth in this issue about things that happens in the past, and there's choices that the main character, which I don't know why I can't remember his name. There's choices that he has to make that don't just affect him and his life. It affects
Zeke.
everyone.
His name is Zeke, right?
Zeke, yes. Ezekiel, yes.
Like...
I do remember this now, yeah. This issue like fucked me up a little bit. Like the last few pages, I know that we're getting to the end of the story, so obviously there's going to be some big things that are happening, like, but this, I don't know why it like fucked me up so bad. I did not know I was attached to some of these characters in the way that I was until this issue. And that's why when I was telling you about it last week, I was like, it's heavy, dude. It's real heavy.
And it is a really heavy book, like, or issue. I think in general, the book, like I said to you, just like, it's heavy. There's a lot of like very heavy themes in there, but this issue does like hit you in the point and like into something we've been waiting for a really long time in the series, like since the beginning, to find out like what really happened, because we didn't know. And I think just we watch like relationships have built in so many different ways, and I think like you said, it was weird like realizing how attached to characters I was, but I think that is to be said like when we came back to the series and realized like how much like we were enjoying these issues. Like I think that like has something there where it's just like, oh, I think we always had attachment, we just like didn't like really. I think sometimes when like we're reading so many books, like that stuff gets lost, right, until we're in these moments, and then you're just like, oh fuck.
And I always fall for, and I shouldn't, because I read a lot of like George R.R. Martin books, but I always fall into the whole like main characters can't be killed type of thing. And so every time something like that does happen, I'm like, I can't believe they would do that. So yeah, every single, I don't know, issue where this in particular, like the death that happens in here, the big thing that happens, I was like not expecting it, because I did not expect it to happen. Like I did not know that that was something that could happen.
Well, because I feel like they don't really do that in this book either. Like they haven't really done that. So you're just like, yeah, it was something.
Like the biggest character who died was the mom, but she's been dead this whole time. Like you didn't see any of that. Like that was happened years beforehand. So yeah, it just shocked me a little bit. I was not ready for it.
Agreed. Yeah. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. This is Detective Comics. This is 1062. We're continuing Ram's 1063, my bad. Continuing Ram's little take on Gotham. And I really like this issue. I really like the first issue, but I really liked this issue a lot. Just because it filled in more stuff. Yeah,
I liked Harvey Dent in this issue. I think like I really like the artist for this story right now. And I'm very particular about the way that Harvey Dent is drawn for some reason. I don't know why. He's always one of those where a lot of times when I see an artist do him, I'm like, no, that's not what he's supposed to look like. That's not how I imagine him. You're wrong. But I think this guy who Albuquerque. I can't remember.
Yeah.
What is the first name again?
Albuquerque.
I never remember like the actual name.
Raphael
Albuquerque. Yeah. Really good job. Really, really good job. That's exactly how I imagined Harvey. So it was just, it was cool to see. And I don't know, him and Batman, the conversations that they have throughout this issue were really good. And I just, yeah, this story is very, very good.
I do think Dave Stewart's colors too, like are just like phenomenal. Like there's portions where like it glows in like such interesting ways, and like backup story was still really, really great.
Yeah, the Gordon one.
Story. Yeah. So just a solid book overall.
And the Gordon story, if it's important or not, it takes place before Joker number 15. So if you are reading that, I'm not sure if that has anything to do with what goes on in Joker. I'm sure something has been like mentioned, but that's where in the timeline it takes place.
This is the one time we'll care about the continuity.
Yeah, we just needed you to know. All right. Next, we have New Masters. This is the last issue of this series. I love it. It was literally, just the conclusion as to like what they were going to do with the hard drive. I don't know what to call it. I can't remember what they call it here.
I really enjoyed it a lot. It was like a very well told story. I love the art. I love the characters quite a bit. I read the author's note backwards. For some reason, I was like, oh, I'm not going to read this. And then I read the bottom half and then I started just reading it. But I really thought it was interesting because they're talking about how Finola wasn't going to be like a main part of the story to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And as they were doing it, they just like really like enjoyed her and decided to shift focus. And I'm glad they did because I really liked her a lot.
Yeah, I don't feel like the story would have been as good if she had not been in it. Like she was such a solid part of the story.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, there was that when I had talked to you about it before you had read it, I said there was like a line at the end that I just loved so much, and now I can't find it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Are you talking about we tried to make a better world for them, we failed?
Yes. I don't know why I guess after reading this whole story and seeing like how far the parents went to protect her and to like take care of their family and the world they're on and stuff, I think that it hit really hard for me, and it was just a really good story. I wish my family loved each other like that.
I think like also those last like that ending kind of hits hard just because of like, the world we live in now. It's very much like we're not going to be here, but other younger people will, and
right,
there's the ones who are going to have to like take care of everything. So it's kind of
it's hard to think exactly. I was gonna say it's hard to think about it like that. Like everything that you do doesn't just affect the people immediately around you, it affects whoever else however long from now. Like you leave a mark.
We've watched Donnie Darko Butterfly Effect and you haven't learned this yet.
You're right, I'm wrong.
Okay, I'm gonna say spoilers. We're gonna talk about Deadly Class. I'm gonna
wait, hold on, I just have to point this out real quick.
Oh fuck, I forgot.
Neither of us really read, I mean we did, but we just don't really get what's going on. This is Defenders Beyond. It's issue number 2. I'll read it and we'll discuss it at length another time, but that's it. I just wanted to point that. Okay.
It's a good fucking looking book though. That book looks just like insane.
Yeah. And I am interested in it. I'm just confused as to what's going on exactly. So I think I'm going to wait for all of the issues to come out and then read them all at once. I feel like that it would make more sense because it is a surprisingly dense book.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any sense. So yes. Okay.
Okay. Now spoilers. We're going to talk about Deadly Class. It's issue number 55. We have one more issue till the last. And I don't think I can talk about this issue without spoiling it. So
yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happens in this one that is obviously leading up to the last issue. So you cannot say one thing about it without spoiling something.
I just gotta say some of these like just panel setups, like as always, are just so fucking phenomenal. Marcus is just having a nice little beach day with his family, kind of wallowing in the world that was 2020 and how awful it was. And we get a little flash to Saya and what she is doing after we have left her for such a long period of time. And she finds out that Shabnam is kind of out for Marcus and has found him, and she has a decision to make if she is going to stop it or just allow it to go. And she doesn't really necessarily make the best choice, I would say.
No,
but
I keep going.
But she makes a choice that I think makes sense to her personally. And then you just kind of see like what her life is and like what it has become and how like what she's become.
Yeah, since we last saw her.
And it's not like bad. It's kind of just like it's bad, but it's not necessarily what you would hope better, I suppose. You just want better for all of them. I think that's like the thing with this book is like you just want better. And then this just ends with a bang, if you will. You kind of get a flash into like what would be like Saya's perfect future if things had gone a different way, and like that's with Marcus and having kids, but none of that is her future. And then Rick Remender being just the complete asshole that he is, just murders my girl right in front of my face. Just right in front of my face.
Yeah, so I made the mistake of reading this at the shop. And I know I've said this about a couple books this week, but it fucked me up. But I think the reason it fucked me up so much is because we've been waiting for her to come back. Like we've been waiting to see her again. And I shouldn't be surprised by the way that her story evolved. But at the same time, I felt like I got cheated. Like I got cheated out of this such a great character. And when she was finally back, it was like, no, just kidding. I'm just going to get her killed. Because we've obviously been discussing this at length for about 5 issues now, like who is going to make it and who isn't. And we've been on the fence about that just based how the story was going to go. And I don't know why I thought it would have been different. Like I thought the reason she came back was going to be for a completely different reason. And that was how they did our girl. Like I
had a very visceral reaction to this book. Because like I don't know. I think it was also the last like several panels, the way it just like shows her, because I just went, huh. And then I just went and just like burst into tears, like to the point where Chris was playing a video game, like Chris was playing PUBG with his friend Joe, and I was crying so loud that Joe heard me and was like, what's going on?
Oh no.
So yeah, I had a real like heavy reaction to this because like, yeah, I feel a little robbed. And also, yeah, this is not what I was expecting for her end. If only because I figured it would come down to like her and Marcus.
Exactly.
And I
feel like this was just so cheap.
Yeah. And I think it like, it hit heavier with like them doing like the heroin scene and like showing her like ultimate like future wants. And then, there's kind of this idea that like she like she's bad, but like you don't want to see her die.
Yeah.
That's bottom line. Like you don't want to see her die by like Shabnam's hands. Like, like out of all of the people, like no.
Well, and they just the way that the issue read made it to me seem like there was no other way it could have happened because Marcus and Maria are off in Hawaii living their life and they're happy and they've got kids. So they're obviously not going to have anything to do with how she ends or how she dies.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. She had so much potential.
Yeah, I think that like it's definitely something where the last couple story arcs I just haven't necessarily agreed with story choices.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like no different, but it's also like, I mean, it did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, we are getting the whole wrap up of all of these characters, and now it's, I guess, just down to the last two
Mm-hmm.
and Shabnab, but
But that's like, yeah, that's the whole point is like, I don't know. I'm very interested to see how it'll wrap up. I'm interested, but at the same time, I don't want to now.
yeah.
Like,
Well, the
I
fact
will.
that it's fucking bug. The fact that it's just them and they're married and they have kids and it's like this whole thing now, and it's I don't
Like I
know.
said, well, I don't like that because it just doesn't feel like why? Like, how did this happen? Like, how did we get here?
I think, in my personal opinion, the way that it seems to me is the reason this happened with those ones is because the last issue, whoever dies in it, it's supposed to hit harder. Or like it, because if either one of them dies, it's like, oh shit, like the other one has to live and raise those kids by themselves, like all that kind of thing. So I get like the heaviness of that situation, but at the same time, like it didn't need to go down that way.
No, no.
There was no reason to keep Saya away from the last like 6 issues. There was none, absolutely none. Just to bring her back one issue before the series ends to fucking kill her. Nah, that's not how we do it.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It's well, it ruined my day. It really put like a whole damper on my like evening after I finished it. So I was like, well, fuck you.
Yeah. It was a little fucked up.
Like, fuck you. Once again, I suppose good media did like made me react.
Yeah.
And it gripped me in to like get me to react that way.
It's a good story.
Yeah, no, Rick
I enjoy
is
it.
good at his job, I guess.
I was a little irritated.
All right, that's all we have. It's been a long one.
Yeah, how long have we been recording?
I don't know. This doesn't tell me, sadly.
Well,
I would say about an hour though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening to us, and go support your local comic book shops. Go take care of your friends. Support your local libraries if they're not moving into shitty buildings.
Yeah.
Do good things. Love each other.
Mm-hmm.
Anything from you, Heather?
No, I don't think I have anything right now.
All right. Well, then we'll see everybody on the flippity flip.